top of the morning. The assembled members of the press corps, and he had this exchange with one reporter.
On Monday,
Who are you with?
did you speak with?
Who are you with?
I'm with Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Bloomberg News, Mario Parker.
How's Michael doing? Good?
We need moments of levity in these times, and how's Michael doing to the Bloomberg reporter? Good?
That
He's
was
doing
good. And then also, too, President Trump is leaving tomorrow to head to Virginia to kiss the ship, the medical ship that's leaving from Virginia to New York.
I think I'm going to go out and I'll kiss it goodbye. I'll go to, it's in Virginia, as you know, and I will go and we'll be waving together because I suspect the media will be following. John, are you going to be following? Maybe. You never know, huh?
It's a very important vessel.
Great ship. It's a great vessel, is right. So if you want to go, I'll see you there, and if you don't, that's okay.
Yeah, the USS Comfort's kiss is on his list. I hope John Roberts is not. But President Trump spent much of his time at the podium talking about the need to get back to work and right quick.
We have to get back to work. Our people want to work. They want to go back. They have to go back. And we're going to be talking about dates. We're going to be talking with a lot of great professionals. But this is a country that was built on getting it done. And our people want to go back to work. I'm hearing it loud and clear from everybody. So we'll see what happens. We're going to have a lot more information early next week, and we'll be reporting that back. But I just want to leave it with you. We have to go back. This is the United States of America. They don't want to sit around and wait, and they'll be practicing. And by the way, a lot of people misinterpret when I say go back. They're going to be practicing as much as you can, social distancing and washing your hands and not shaking hands and all of the things that we talk about so much. But they have to go back to work. Our country has to go back. Our country is based on that. And I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. A lot of progress is made, but we got to go back to work. We may take sections of our country, we may take large sections of our country that aren't so seriously affected, and we may do it that way, but we've got to start the process pretty soon.
That partial reopening of sorts, what form that would take is a topic for more exploration. But one other note, Mike Pence, after the president left and Pence took over VP, he addressed in part the unemployment apps, 3.28 million, but also those companies that are hiring, again, just trying to offer some notes of optimism.
While there were some 3 million plus new unemployment claims, Walmart announced they're hiring 150,000 new associates through the end of May. Amazon, a few weeks back, announced they're hiring 100,000 additional warehouse employees to meet a growing demand at Amazon for online purchases. CVS Health is going to provide bonuses to their employees working with patients and hire 50,000 workers. And Pizza Hut, I'm told, is planning to hire more than 30,000 permanent employees. And that's just a short summary of a list that totals almost 500,000 jobs that have been announced by businesses around America.
Nevertheless, Rich Lowry, our friend from National Review, has a piece at nationalreview.com, which is eerie for me. He says about the economy what every girl I've ever dated has said to me at some point, which is, this is not sustainable.
This isn't going to work, Dan. I'm
So-
sorry. It's not you. It's me.
So, Rich Lowry, we need to talk. Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, author of The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. The heat that President Trump has taken for throwing an aspirational date out there of Easter weekend, your reaction to it, because it seems like anybody who's passed an Econ 101 course could plot a supply and demand curve, know that shutting down the American economy for some indeterminate extended period is not sustainable, as you write.
Of course, and this must be the most rapid economic decline in our history. I mean, obviously we had the Great Depression, we had these horrible financial panics in the 19th century, but this is economic activity just vaporizing before our eyes in a matter of days or in some cases hours. And obviously, there's a trade-off that you want to think about. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with having an aspiration of opening it back up again. But there's kind of fanaticism around this disease and the public policy surrounding it, where a lot of people just think it's inherently wrong to even ask these questions. So, I take it very seriously. I'm a New Yorker. New York is really in the thick of it. I don't think New York's going to be open by Easter, but it doesn't mean that other places can't be open by Easter. So let's see where we are in 2 or 3 weeks and consider it then. But the idea that it's just wrong and people are going to die because you're saying it would be good to be open again, it's just crazy.
Well, how many $1 trillion bills can Washington pass to try and fix this problem?
Well, a lot. It wouldn't be good. I mean, we're eventually going to have to pay it off, but that's one positive here is, so by some estimates, GDP growth will go down the second quarter. Some people say by a quarter, 25%.
Yeah.
But if you add up, Larry Kudlow's made this point, you add up what the Congress is about to do, more than $2 trillion, and you add up all these Fed facilities and quantitative easing, which is really complicated stuff. But that's about another $4 trillion, apparently, I'm told, or Larry says, and so that's about six trillion, and that's about a third of the economy. So it's not going to make everyone whole. It's better for people to be employed. It's still going to be really hard for small businesses. You hope that this will kind of bridge them over this period, but that's an enormous bazooka that at least will provide some relief. And
Yeah.
I think Congress is going to end up doing a lot of it and doing it in another round.
Yeah, but the problem is, I mean, it doesn't work. It's short-term paper for medium to long-term severe financial implications. These sort of massive market interventions, as you know, and the bottom line is, you don't have an economy if you don't have production. You can send as many checks to people as you want. You're not going to be able to control inflation at some point, and you do not have an economy without production. You have to, which is what President Trump is essentially saying when he said people have to get back to work. You have to produce. You have to provide services, and you have to produce things if you want to have an economy.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, if this is a situation in September, we're in enormous trouble. So you just gotta hope, that the theory is sound. If someone put it, if none of us moved for the next 14 days and we're 6 feet apart, the virus would just die. It'd be gone. Obviously, we can't do that. But that just gets to the fact if you're not interacting with people as much, there's just less opportunity for it to spread. So we're not seeing the effects yet because, as Fauci says, all the numbers we see are kind of an echo of the past. But hopefully, next week or so, you'll begin to see it go down. And it's a really transmissible virus, and it's very dangerous. And there's a reason that no major country in the world has just let it run free because, in China, how many people would have died? I don't believe their official numbers, but 100,000, 1 million. How many fatalities would Italy be having a day if they hadn't tried to control it? Too late, turns out, but 1,000 a day, and just no one's willing to pay that price. So,
are you concerned when you hear, Cuomo and De Blasio yesterday said half of New Yorkers are going to be getting the coronavirus? Do you believe that?
I don't know.
Because they have no facts to back it up.
I'm not enough of an expert. So I do think there's a difference between, over the course of the next year, half of New Yorkers getting it and half of New Yorkers getting it in the next 2 weeks. So that the latter is the scenario that you want to avoid. And you will, hopefully we're pumping resources into the hospital system and we'll avoid the worst, but you don't want, just people dying in hospital hallways without the proper care. And it's a savage disease. It's a cruel disease. You die alone, and no one's going to be holding your hand. No one's going to be talking to you. There are going to be a bunch of strangers in spacesuits walking around you very gingerly while you're intubated and on a respirator, and that's just horrifying. So we want to avoid the worst here, but then, as we've discussed, realize that there's a severe downside to what we're doing now. People are unemployed. They get depressed. They commit suicide. They start drinking. So we're going to have to find a balance.
Your colleague, David Harsanyi, writing in National Review, excoriated the political press corps and justifiably so. I mean, where to begin? The White House press corps that demanded White House briefings and now doesn't want White House briefings anymore because they read into them some of the rhetoric that you hear from Trump at a campaign rally. Well, I mean, you're talking about the same issues. It doesn't really matter the venue. But I mean, those sorts of that sort of context is completely lost, as is their reporting on data, as is their intellectual curiosity about things like the economy. So, for example, on the public health side, with respect to the economy, as President Trump sort of referenced generally, the health implications for people getting wrecked economically. Well, there were actually studies about this, too. I don't know if anybody other than Forbes wants to report them, and people like David want to write about them to provide the context that people need to make informed decisions about those very trade-offs that you're discussing. University of Oxford found 10,000 economic suicides associated with the Great Recession across U.S., Canada, and Europe. And the British medical journal, The Lancet, in 2012 estimated the U.S. suffered 4,750 excess suicide deaths over norm after the recession of 2008. And this doesn't count the stress that leads to things like heart disease and so forth. I mean, there are health implications no matter which way you turn.
Yeah, of course. And the press has just brought the same sophomoric gotcha style and hysteria that's characterized them throughout the Trump era to this crisis, which is why there's that Gallup poll the other day that showed public trust among basically all the institutions of American life, the one that's trusted least and has the lowest regard is the media. And you see it in that briefing every single day. Trump says stuff he shouldn't all the time, but the press is just horrible, and people feel that. So talk about not rising to the moment. There just hasn't been any indication of the media being capable of it. And, I watch it, listen to a fair amount of CNN. I can't watch cable TV all the time. So I have an app on my phone, Tune In, where you can listen to cable TV, and for whatever reason Fox isn't on it. But CNN and NBC are, and I listen to a lot of CNN. It's just terrible. It's self-obsessed. It's all about, he didn't call on our reporter, Caitlin Collins. Isn't this terrible? No one cares about any of this, They're the only ones who care about this.
When will someone stand up for Caitlin Collins? Yes, right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. But, yeah, I mean, and it continued into yesterday, too, a couple of questions and follow-up questions about the terminology with respect to the virus. We're still talking about this as if there's going to be a new answer.
Yeah, and they're asking yesterday, so has President Xi, the head of dictatorial state that lied about this thing and loosed it on the world, runs a gulag for Uyghurs, has he upbraided you about the insensitivity of your language? It's insane.
It is.
That's crazy.
Insane is the only way to describe it. It truly is. Well, Rich Lowry, we appreciate you providing a little bit of sanity. He is the editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, author of The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. And I'll post his piece from nationalreview.com. This is not sustainable at Dan Proft as well. Rich, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Be well.
Take care.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I needed new blinds. I knew I could save a ton of money if I put them in myself, but I was nervous about measuring right and then installing them. That's why I went to Blinds.com. I'd heard their ads on the radio, how they're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. But I still had to install them. So I called in my design consultant, Carla. She talked me through it all, from picking the right blinds to installing them. Plus, the online design consultation was free. Samples were free. Shipping was free. My home looks perfect.
Over the past 24 years, Blinds.com has made it easy for over 2 million homeowners to beautify their windows with top-quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters at unbelievable prices. Now, they're making it even easier for you with their new measure and install services. Go to Blinds.com now through March 31st to see their huge selection and save up to 40% on everything. Plus, get an extra $20 off with promo code LIGHT. Up to